The following activities explore multiplication of integers using a number line, integer tiles, and patterns. One way to think of multiplication is repeated addition. Let's start with an example using a number line. You have no money and borrow $5 each day for 4 days. What is your total debt at the end of the 4th day? Since you have no money, you would start at 0 on the number line. On the first day, you borrow $5. This is represented by a move of 5 units to the left. This continues for a total of 4 days. The final position on the number line represents your net worth. The integer minus 20 shows that you have a debt of $20 after the 4 days. Positive 4 sets of negative 5 means to add 4 sets of negative 5 to 0. Remember that multiplication is just repeated addition. Using integer tiles, negative integers are represented with white units and positive integers with red units. On the first day, a debt of $5 is shown using 5 white tiles. This continues for a total of 4 days. The final accumulation of white tiles represents your net worth. The integer minus 20 shows that you have a debt of $20 after the 4 days. Positive 4 sets of negative 5 means to add 4 sets of negative 5 to 0. Again, this multiplication is just repeated addition. We can also learn how to multiply integers by using patterns. For example, we can use a pattern to solve the following problem. You accumulate 4 debts of $5. This is like saying positive 4 times negative 5. What is your gain or loss by this action? Let's start with positive integers and work our way through a pattern to negative integers. Let's start with positive 4 multiplied by positive 5, which we know to be positive 20. Working our way towards 0 and beyond, we can see that the pattern continues into the negatives. When we get to our original equation, positive 4 times negative 5, we can see that it was just a matter of extending the pattern to negative 20. The integer negative 20 shows that you have a debt of $20. Let's look at what happens to the pattern if we change the order in which we multiply. Let's start with positive 5 times positive 4 this time. This means that we have 5 groups of positive 4, which equals positive 20. Let's keep the pattern going. Working our way towards 0 and beyond, we can see that the pattern continues again into the negatives. Eventually, we will get to negative 5 times positive 4, which is negative 20. The order in which we multiply the numbers doesn't matter. This is the commutative property of multiplication. This example illustrates the multiplication of two negative numbers using a number line. You remove 3 debts of $2. What is your gain or loss by this action? When we repeatedly added debt, we moved to the left on the number line. Since subtraction is the opposite of addition, we must move to the right on the number line when we repeatedly subtract debt. Subtracting debt is the same as increasing your net worth. Negative 3 times negative 2 equals 6. Negative 3 sets of negative 2 means to subtract 3 sets of negative 2. This activity illustrates multiplication of two negative numbers using integer tiles and the zero principle. The expression negative 3 times negative 2 can be read as remove 3 groups of negative 2. We put groups of 0 pairs in the circle so that 3 groups of negative 2 can be removed from the circle. When we remove the 3 groups of negative 2, there are 6 positive tiles remaining. Therefore, the answer is positive 6. We can use a pattern to solve the following problem. You remove 3 debts of $2. What is your gain or loss by this action? Let's start with positive 3 multiplied by negative 2, which we now know to be negative 6. Working our way towards 0 and beyond, we can see how the pattern continues. When we get to our equation, negative 3 times negative 2, the pattern shows an answer of positive 6. By removing 3 debts of $2, you have increased your net worth by $6.